Leaders and healers, gamers and claimers, ladies and gentlemen from around the universe, from around the globe, from around the community, welcome to the Power, Purpose, and Passion podcast. I am your host, Anthony Cheam, speaker, life coach, author, trainer, musician, singer, songwriter, ready to go, ready to give, ready to flow, ready to upgrade and update your life by upgrading my life so we can update and upgrade together. We can become a unified field in healing this world and loving this world and making this world a better place. Because this is what this show is all about, is claiming your power, clarifying your purpose, and cultivating your deepest, widest, and highest passions possible so you can ultimately show up as the better, best, upgraded, enhanced version of yourself, empowering the world, empowering every delivery system you're using to make the world better and to enjoy life and ultimately inspire others to do the same. So thank you for joining us. It is an absolute plum-pleasing pleasure and a privilege to be on the show and to be serving you through this delivery system, through this platform. Thank you for joining us. What's up there, Cam? How you doing from Chatham? What's up? What's up? What's up?
Hey, I'm doing very good. That was a very quick intro. I love it.
Yeah. You got it, man. You got it.
Yeah, so the power of darkness. This is something I'm familiar with.
The dark side.
Yeah.
The dark side. Don't give in to the dark side, right? We all talk, the Star Wars, right? And we talk about, the Force. You got the side of the light and the side of the dark. For true growth and expansion, we must honor both the light and the dark side of ourselves and of the world. We live in a dualistic world of light and darkness, peace and chaos, love and hate. But at the end of the day, we must acknowledge those things within inside ourselves for integrative expansion and illumination into our lives. And I want to kind of start this podcast with a story. It's a Sufi story from this book by Bernie Siegel. It's a classic. If you haven't read it, if you're going through some physical and emotional distress, man, this guy is a pioneer. He's actually, Bernie Siegel was named one of the top 25 spiritual teachers in the world. He's actually a former medical doctor and very famous, in fact. And his book is called Love, Medicine, and Miracles. And his book written a number of years ago. But in his book, I'm going to read one of the stories he talks about. And so let me get to it here. And it says this. A stranger comes upon a man on his knees and hands and knees under a street lamp in front of his house. He's looking for his keys, and the stranger gets down on all fours to help him. After a time, the stranger asks, "Where exactly did you drop them?" "In my house," comes the reply. Exasperated, the stranger asks, "Then why are you looking for it out here when it's inside your house?" And the guy replies, "Because it's dark in the house." And he goes on to say this: the light is better in our conscious minds, but we must look for healing in our dark unconscious. The doctor works in the light. He is verbal and logical. The patient's world may be dark, but there are sources of illumination. Within each of us is a spark. Call it divine spark if you will, but it is there and can light the way to health. There are no incurable diseases, only incurable people. Bam, in your face. Okay, so let's talk about that for a moment. For the longest time, I think I was overdoing the positive psychology, positive outlook, positive thought, and not honoring the dark sides of life and seeing within those dark elements of my life the gems, the diamonds of wisdom, of illumination. As one of my spiritual teachers says all the time, the closer you get to the light, the more it reveals your darkness. And the more you can integrate those things that you are ashamed of, those things that again, the shadow self, the dark part. Carl Jung said the way to the authentic self is through the shadow, not around it, not by denying it, not by disassociating it, not by trying to kill it, but through it, in it. And I truly believe through your darkest times, you find yourself giving thanks for your darkest times. When you go into that, it says, one of my favorite teachers, Richard Rohr, says, if you go into your suffering, into the depths and the hole of what is hurting you the most, you will find God. And deepest love, where there's deep suffering, there's deep love. Where there's deep love, there's going to be deep suffering. And let me tell you, I don't know why that is, but I have to tell you, the more I have suffered, the more pain I've been in, the more I'm appreciative. And I come out, I'm more humble, more compassionate, more kind and gracious human being. And let me tell you something. Let me remind you about spiritual qualities versus exterior qualities. Anything you use in the exterior world or external universe, with use, it actually diminishes in worth and value. and strength. So it could be a car. The more you drive it, it actually gets weaker. Your house might grow up in value in terms of cost, but it's going to break down. The furnace, the air conditioner, the walls, the floor, the carpet, your sink, your toilet, whatever it might be. A toothbrush, eventually it's going to wear down. You have to buy new ones. Where spiritual qualities, interior qualities of kindness, compassion, patience, perseverance, courage, festivity, charity, love, and faith, all those qualities, the more you use them, they actually expand as opposed to diminish. The more you use those qualities. And I have to say it, those qualities are strengthened, not when things are easy and when everything's jolly and you're in a heavenly state. Those, yeah, and they are, if you then begin to share those qualities with others and you share them with people and people you love and, people around the world for whatever means you're using them. But the reality is those qualities are strengthened most when we enter into the dark spaces of our own life and the dark spaces of other people's lives. So the word compassion actually means to suffer with, to go into the hole, into the darkness, to feel the pain of the world. And once you do that, compassion arises, a breathtaking, overwhelming insight, an awakening, sort of a clarity comes over you and realize that everybody is suffering. I literally walk around now, and again, I'm not better than anybody, but I almost walk around and it's almost like I feel the energy of people. I can feel people suffering. I feel the pain. There might be smiles on people's faces, but inside they're hurting. You hear about people who are seemingly happy, have everything going for them, and then they kill themselves. Or, who seemingly think, who are jovial and outgoing and who are severely depressed when they get home or feel like they're lonely. They feel like their life doesn't matter. You see it all the time. So it's going into the depths. In fact, if I were to ask you right now, if you were to guess someone's age, physical age, anyone on the street, I guarantee you'd come within the same decade, maybe within 1 or 2 years of the birth date. But if I were to ask you their spiritual, mental, and emotional age, you can't actually decipher that unless they open their mouth and talk to you and open up to you. Now, the topsoil, if you're going to understand the undersoil, and if it's as nourishing as the topsoil, you have to go deep into the person. You got to go deep into yourself. If you want to know what the topsoil is like, yeah, you can go at the surface all you want. But if you want to go the depth of a human being, a depth of who you are, you got to go see down and dig deep into the undersoil. And then you will see how old a person is, how immature or young or how wise a person is when you go deep into. And one of the ways to do that is to actually understand the ways in which they see the world, their perceptions, their beliefs, what they value, whether they're a pessimist or an optimist, whether they believe life is serving them or life is taking things away from them. And as Albert Einstein said, you can either believe the world is for you or the world is against you. You have that choice. And depending on upon which perception you decide to adopt and indulge in will impact your life. That global belief will impact your life. If you said the world is against me, will that not impact every decision you make and how you feel and your emotions? And the answer is yes. So oftentimes, what am I getting at? We got to go into the depths of our own perceptions and beliefs that are hindering us, that are destroying us, that are destructive rather than constructive. It's good to go into our own selves, to examine ourselves and go, where are my own perceptions and beliefs guiding me and empowering me and serving me? Where are my beliefs, the undersoil of my beliefs hurting me? Like I love this exercise in my coaching practice. I'll just ask the question. I wouldn't really ask the question. I'll say, life is, and then I'll have them answer. Life is, love is, love is not, health is, spirituality is. And I'll just get them to rant without even thinking. Just and as they answer these questions, you extract a person's basic blueprint of how they see the world, about what life's about, what relationships are about, what health is about, love is about, and you extract the good things and the bad things. And the reason why I want them to answer those questions quick is I don't want them to think about it. I want them to unconsciously blurt it out so the truth comes out, their darkness comes out. And let me tell you something. This is not fun. This is not pretty. It really isn't fun, which is why I'm a big believer in meditation, why I'm a big believer in seeking spiritual teachers, spiritual directors that can help you, guide you through the terrain of life. Because at the end of the day, like, have you ever actually sat there and went, what does it all mean? Have you ever sat there and went like, what's the point of it all? What's the point of me being here right now? And you just kind of, no matter how much you succeed, how much money you have, no matter how much people are loving you, no matter how much, what title you have, or how many PhDs you get, or how the nice car, eventually you get to a point where those things go, they don't serve you anymore. There's only so high. So it's the self-actualized, highly evolved person that says life's about not me. It's about helping others, serving others, giving to others. And I think the highly evolved person knows that. But then the highly evolved person also knows that despite giving of themselves, they also take care of themselves. So they take care of themselves to then take care of others, and they take care of others to take care of themselves. So it's like I wouldn't say a give and take, but it's unified. It's not I take care of myself selfishly. It's I got to take care of myself for a purpose of feeling good, but also so I can spread the best of me to the people I'm working with. And the greater impact I'm having on other people, the more joy I'm going to experience through the integration of that level of thinking, that level of doing, that level of being, that level of action. So I went on a rant there, but the point is, don't steer away from your darkness. I'm telling you, it's one of the most glorious things. It's hard. There's no question that's hard. It's like spiritual working out. Have you ever worked out with weights and you're sore? You're going to be sore mentally, emotionally. Your spirit's going to be weary, where you're literally giving of yourself and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not sure if this is the path I should be taking. And trust me when I said this, I've even told Cam this. Have you ever gotten to a point on your journey where you're like, why am I even taking this journey? I was so much better a year ago in terms of less pain, less angst, less questioning of myself. I was having a great time drinking, partying, smoking, doing drugs, whatever. And it was great. But there was something emptiness. There's an emptiness inside of me that said, no, there's got to be more than just this, than the surface. I wanted to go deep. And in order to experience life at its depths, anything at its depths, you will find peace, you will find equanimity, you will find harmony, you will find God, if you want to call it that. Okay. Any thoughts there, Cam?
Yeah. So it's funny you talk about this, because this is kind of exactly what I've been doing. I've been meditating for 2 straight hours a day. And during that time, I didn't expect this because I thought I was done, but stuff started coming up. Stuff that you didn't think was a problem. But obviously, it's like what you said about the guy running up the mountain with a backpack full of bricks, and he didn't know he was being weighed down. I didn't know I was being weighed down. Mm-hmm. So after realizing, I've got bricks on my back and I'm running up Mount Everest, it's like it was definitely it's like a punch in the face, like, whoa. But my question is, once you do find what's been hidden in the dark side of your mind or of your soul,
what do you do with it?
What do you do then? Because at this point, I'm just kind of sitting there watching it happen, and like you said, it's not fun. So is there a procedure? Is there like a thing you could do to make it so that you either not disassociate, but no longer identify and accept it and have a more objective view of what's going on within?
Well, yeah. I mean, I learned this from my own therapy and my own study of what they call shadow work. And we talked about this before in some of the episodes, but what they call shadow work or 3-2-1 process. Literally just speak to it. Just be mindful of what the things that are irritating you, that are bringing up feelings of shame or hurt or regret or pain or suffering, and look deep, talk to it. No, there I am. There's my, and then actually have a conversation with it, whatever that part of you. And if it's like a monster that's like from your past or your childhood, literally put it in a seat and talk to it and go, hey, why are you trying to hurt me? Or why are you so angry? And this element of you might go, because I just hate everybody. Everybody's loser. Everyone's against you. And I just want to kill everybody. And I've had that part of me come out too, where I'm like, I just want to freak out. And I'm like, interesting. So why is it that you want to do that? And then just let it talk, let it spew out its energy. And then what you do then, once you've had engaged in this conversation and it's almost complete, you then switch places with it. You then become the monster, and then you actually speak as if you're it, because then as you do that, you reintegrate, as they call, as opposed to disassociating with it, you're reassociating with that part of you. And because you're reassociating with you're less fearful of that part of you, and you're more aware of those elements in other people, because we all have a warrior in us. We all have a god or goddess in us. We all have a magician, creative genius in us. We all have a lover in us, but we also have As much as we have divine love, unconditional love, we also have forbidden lust. We do. All human beings do. And anyone that says to me they don't, they're in severe denial. They're immediate. I already know that they have tons of more shadow. The person that says, oh, I don't have anger issues, or I don't have anger. That's when I know they probably have deep seated anger. They're just not, they've disassociated with, denied it, or disowned, and they're denying. We all have areas that we're ashamed of, or we just don't like about ourselves, and get to know those parts of you. And though in those areas, those dark areas, those corners of our unconscious, we discover gems that I can't really describe, other than a freedom to be okay with who you are and to love every aspect of you are. Because if your goal or your purpose is to be an instrument of unconditional love and empower people through whatever it is, delivery system or whatever role you're playing, that means unconditional, without any conditions. That means you will love yourself and every aspect of yourself unconditionally. If you can't do that with yourself, how on earth are you going to do that with somebody else? So the more you're able to unconditionally unlock those parts of you that you hate, or you just don't want to look at, the more you unlock them and you look at them and you face them and you speak with them and you get to know those, the less fearful you are, the more loving, the more inclusive you become. And there's a freedom. That's all I can say. There's a freedom to be really who you are, to really go for broke, to be less judgmental and less reactive to other people's crap or crazy ways. Yeah, have you ever noticed when someone's crazy, you become reactive? Once you get to know the crazy parts of you, the other people's craziness doesn't trigger you to go into your craziness, because you realize, wow, I have that crazy too. And you start to become more compassionate and self-aware. That's what it's all about. Lao Tzu said it best. He said, those who study others are wise. Those who study themselves are enlightened. So to be enlightened, and I'm not telling you I know what that feels like or what that is, but I can tell you enlightenment to me, if anything, is awakening to who you are and to your purpose on this planet and living out with total freedom. And part of that is not just going into the light, but including the darkness on the pathway, including all the parts, none excluded whatsoever. We all have the divine, the diabolical, the sacred and profane, the good and the bad, the unconditional lover and the forbidden lust in all of us. I don't care who it is you are. And I tell you, all I can say, freedom, more love, gentleness, grace, and deep kindness towards myself and to other people. I'm a lot less beating up of myself over the past few years and a lot more compassionate. And I thought not beating up myself would actually weaken me, but actually strengthen me, because I'm a better coach. I'm a better father. I'm a better brother. I'm a better son. I'm more patient, and more light. There's a lightness into my actions in my daily routine. Even though I'm still a crazy guy, loves to experience everything, there's a lightness and there's an appreciation for the moment, because we only have so many seconds. I mean, this week alone, I have 4 funerals. Life's short, man. Live it up, right? So anyway, hopefully that helped you guys. Hopefully it's not a pretty subject to go into, but it's certainly necessary for an integrative, multidimensional expansion into who you are, upgrading who you are, and showing up as a better, best, more upgraded, enhanced version of yourself. So if you love this podcast, by all means, subscribe to YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram. Ask questions, comment. We'd love to hear from you, and we appreciate your support and just listening. You don't have to do anything. Just listening. The fact that one guy said to me the other day, he said, I listen to you while I work out, man. Power, purpose, and passion. And it was like, great. And it was just like a great comment. He's like, I just love what you have to say, and it helps me. It's like a mental, emotional workout and a tune-up. So just the fact that's in it of itself, its own reward. So thank you for joining us to your continued upgrade and evolution. We'll continue this Power, Purpose, and Passion podcast for as long as I'm alive and I'm able to. Because man, you guys listening is my fuel for doing this. So thank you guys for doing this, and we will see you soon to continue to upgrade and evolution. Live it up with power, purpose, and passion. God bless, guys.